Cases of missing children often spark a serious heartstring in a lot of people. You can't imagine if it was your cousin, nephew, or child being lost somewhere without you, or worse, being lost somewhere like the forest. The woods are a scary, dark, almost unnatural place to us humans. And when you think about how a child would view them, it's going to be much, much, much scarier. This is where the case of a missing 8-year-old boy in the 1970s comes in. Now, in order for us to talk about the child Douglas Legg who went missing in 1971, we have to establish where he was, what kind of area he was in when he did go missing on that day. Nestled in the Adirondack Mountains is an area known as Santinoni Preserve. This preserve is listed as being over 12,000 acres, housing 40 buildings and a 24-room main complex. The Melvin family would purchase this preserve in 1953, and for 20 years, the Melvin's family and their extended family would use this preserve as a vacation spot. May Melvin Legg was the mother of Douglas Legg, and she was the daughter of Myron Melvin, who had been a part of the purchase in 1953. Douglas Legg is a super active outdoorsman. He is known as a mini outdoorsman. He's known to be very competent hiking by himself and doing all the outdoor tasks that a grown person would be doing. He was known as a mini outdoorsman, or a mini woodsman. On July 10th of 1971, Douglas and his uncle are out hiking when his uncle notices there is a large amount of poison ivy on the trail. Douglas, or Dougie, is wearing shorts at the time, and his uncle's worried about him getting poison ivy on his legs or being infected with the plant. Douglas's uncle instructs him to return to the lodge, put on long pants, that way they can continue their hike, and there's no worry about him getting brushed up on poison ivy on his legs and contracting a nasty rash. Douglas doesn't necessarily want to, but he reluctantly turns around and goes back to the lodge, and passes his brothers on the way down to the main lodge building. Douglas is never seen again. Now, no one is necessarily worried about Doug, thinking that maybe he just went on a small hike by himself, but once the evening comes around, the temperatures start to drop, and the family becomes extremely worried when Doug doesn't show up for dinner. The state police are called in, and they immediately begin a search, with the family and state police assisting until the next day, when forest rangers along with search dogs are able to come in and begin searching the area. Now, not only were foot searchers utilized in this, but helicopters and planes from the United States Air Force are utilized with IR cameras to see if they can't track Doug down via that method. Now, of course, like in every important search and rescue operation, the weather goes to complete trash. The area is blanketed by fog and rain, making the swamps, bogs, marshes, and deep forests much more difficult to search. This was already a hard area to search, and now you're talking about limited visibility and more wet areas to go sloshing around in. Now, supposedly, one of these dogs that was in the search and assisted in it did hit on Douglas's scent at the edge of a pond, but the pond was dragged and drained to make sure that there was nothing inside of it, and nothing was ever found that indicated Doug had been inside of the pond. Now, you have to understand, there were more than 600 searchers and the United States Air Force in on this search and rescue operation, and they found absolutely nothing to ever indicate that Doug had ever even been in the area. These 600 searchers and United States Air Force aircraft would continue searching for 6 weeks and never find a trace of young Douglas Legg. Now, the prevailing theory is that Douglas went out on a hike by himself, but he just got lost, and in the Adirondack swampy and boggy environment, he succumbed to it. This is an area that is extreme wilderness. We're talking mountains, swamps, bogs, and anything that would swallow a small child up, with no trace ever being found of them. Now, in 1993, a lake bed was dragged, and this was based on a woman's claim that a boy had been kidnapped and murdered and put in the pond. But authorities dragged the lake, and nothing was there. A few months after Douglas goes missing, the property is sold, and most of Douglas's relatives have passed away to this day. The only small upside of Douglas's disappearance is that more money in the state of New York has been put into search and rescue efforts, and the coordination of multiple entities in order to commit to a search and rescue operation. Unfortunately, more than likely, we will never find out what happened to Douglas Legg, but I'm sure it will caution many of you to do things differently than you may hear about in the story. I appreciate all of you that come in and watch. Thank you very much. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to like the video, comment, subscribe. If you didn't enjoy the video, I ask that you comment and state why you didn't like it. If you want to follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or on my other YouTube channel, you can look me up under Crew Dog Gamer on all of those platforms. And if you like this kind of content, I post 2 or 3 times a week. So thank you guys very much for watching, and I hope to see you all in the next one.